Howdy YouTube folks, I'm bringing you another video. This is the first installment of the restoration of the single signal Jetstream air circulating fan from circa around 1955, definitely 1950s. I saw another one like it on YouTube that they said was from 1955, and it had the similar paint scheme, so that's what leads me to believe this was done in 55, but again, 50s. So let's get into it. The tools you are going to need, I like this multi-tool, a Phillips and flathead, and disclaimer, I already got some of these screws undone, so I did it ahead of time so that way it'd be easier. So first I'm going to start by taking this plate off here, so we will get into it. Now I'm going to find a spot to prop you guys so you can see what I'm doing if I can. I tried to make a homemade tripod once, but that didn't work out, so that's why you won't see. Question is, can you see me from over here? Oh, look at this myself. I think you could, but I don't know. I'm gonna try to hold you with one hand and loosen the screws out. That way. And it's not critical, but I like to leave the screws in order as I pull them out, just because, and I'll probably put them back into this block after I take this plate off, because I believe that the threads wear a certain way on each screw as they go in and out over the years of being assembled and disassembled. For who knows who's done this in the past to fix things on this fan, even though I'm assuming it's never really been disassembled, because judging by the cord I think it's original, but just in case, you never know. So that's why I try to kind of organize them in that sense and kind of remember which slot that screw came out of, so when if I need to, I can put them back in that slot temporarily until I absolutely need to remove them for full-on. And this will get a full-on paint restoration as well. Sorry. Excuse me. So now I'm going to put that back. But for now, this is going to be a mainly mechanical restoration. So I do have to make a parts list for this and order some parts, but this is where we're at. So I thought I would bring you a restoration video because I have not brought a restoration video to this channel in a while, and I am slowly getting rid of the small engine stuff, but I will make updates on that. But I want to get into small appliances, mainly old fans like this vintage, and steam irons, sewing machines, portable record players, small wood cabinet radios, small Bakelite radios, stuff like that. Small hand mixers and kitchen countertop stand mixers. Nothing really big though. And did I say portable TVs? Yeah, those two. If I didn't already. But yeah, that's kind of what I want to get into. That, like, portable record players and not big ones. Just because I don't want to have to move the big stuff. I may or may not be getting a vintage refrigerator that I'll show you though. that I wanted one for the shop, but that's the only one I'm going to be doing. And I'm going to make a business out of this, I think, by looking for the stuff. And when I first start the business, I may not do any repairs on anybody's machines, or if ever, and just go searching for mixers on Marketplace and places like that, and stuff like this that need restoration, do it myself and just flip it that way. But I may also be into trading, but I don't know if I want to get into a full service business, because there are people that do this as a hobby for a living that know where to source a lot of these parts. And I've been finding myself, for some of these I've been working on lately, the parts have been harder to come by, and so that's kind of why I don't really want to get into that headache. So we pulled this off. So next we will pull these right here, because we want to get access to the fan motor. I am going to eventually, I've been trying to get this off, admittedly, or, loose. But eventually I'm going to pull that knob off, because I think this whole switch needs to be replaced. And I want to rewire this, but the motor needs to be cleaned on this, because it's dusty inside from sitting on my floor in my bedroom, admittedly, and not really being dusted off enough like it probably should have. So I'm going to go through it, because I've finally gotten around to fixing it. Because this one, believe it or not, I'm actually going to keep. This one I probably won't sell, because it's one I want to use in my room. But I want to make it look more cosmetically presentable at some point. So, yeah, look for videos on that. And we're on doing this. When you're removing the screws on these, this part, there are 3 screws, one here, here, and here, and I loosened them all up, so they should be pretty straightforward to remove. And that's what you're going to want to do, is take these 3 screws out. And like I said, if you can help it, try to put them back in the same slot you pull them out of, because it's just going to be so much easier for you, in my opinion, because of, like I said, about the possibility of them being on a wear pattern with the threads. And this is a prime example, too, of also why I'm doing this, because if you look right here at this screw, in comparison to this one, let me try to get them lined up. That stubbier screw right there, that is the original screw, I believe, for this. And then somebody lost one of them, so they only had 2. So to fix that, they took a random screw that they found somewhere. And it would be cool if I could find a replacement like that for this. But I got a feeling that's possibly stripped out now, because they used that oversized. So in the end, I'm going to have to just stick with that one, because now it's worn in to only accept that, probably, because they did that, which is sad, but it happens on a lot of this stuff. Especially like back in the 1960s or 70s, if somebody was in this fan servicing it at one point, and say they lose a screw on the floor and they get frustrated, that's oftentimes what they would do, is just take another screw and put it in there. And because this screw has been swapped with this one, tells me that somebody has been in this before and serviced it. And I say 60s, 70s. It could have been in the 80s. It could have been in the 90s. But it's been serviced. I guarantee it. How long this fan was in service before it was sold to me from the antique shop that I got it from, who knows? The person could have been using it up until the day they died, because when I got it, it was functioning and working. They plugged it in and showed me it is, so I know it works. It's just, again, I'm just doing a preliminary cleanup on it. And I think I may have messed up the switch, so I'm going to see if I can repair the switch. but I think I'm just going to end up replacing it. But hopefully I can find one that this knob will fit onto, so it has the factory knob. And then I'll do away with all this non-grounded wire and put a ground in there anyways. Though this might be grounded, and I say that to some extent because of the fact that there's no capacitors under here, but I'm still betting that it was non-grounded and it was made so it goes into a grounded outlet of some sort, if there were really any grounded outlets in the 50s. I mean, I don't believe there was, so it is what it is. But that will all be, like I said, that will all be reworked, so that way it's grounded with a new cord. I think that's the safest thing to do to bring it up to modern code. Some people might debate that it doesn't really matter, but in the end, plus this is a really old cord. And granted, it plugged in and worked, but I don't have faith in how long this cord will last before it shorts out and becomes a problem. And so to prevent that, it's highly recommended to just replace to a grounded system anyways. And I found a place where you can get reproduction cords for these anyways, so it'll look original with the head, but it'll be a grounded cord. And you might pay a little bit more for that, but it's worth it if you want to keep the original aesthetic look. And the place even makes the black plug heads like that, but made for grounded, that look like the old school ones. So I'm assuming they were able to get rights to maybe a mold of one of those, and that's why they're reproducing them, because maybe they got rights to a mold or something to it by buying it, and the company said, yes, you can produce those parts. Because if you know anything about patents, sometimes companies won't allow you to patent their parts if they discontinue them, because they don't want you taking theirs. But I think that's a common house plug anyways of that era, so multiple companies were using house plugs like that. So it's not like, especially if the company hasn't been in business for years, it's not like they're really going to be able to come to you and say, hey, you're stealing my plug. But yeah, anyways, little tidbit of information, useless or not. But that's the front screen off. Now we will take the back screen off, and I just have to getting my hair out of my face, and I just have to set this down. So what we'll do is we'll flip this up, and I want to show you something. I wasn't able to get the fan off, but I was able to loosen this, and right in there, if it'll focus, is a set screw, an Allen key set screw that I forget what size it was, but in the next video I will mention it once I know what size it is. And that has to come out before you can get this off. You may want to spray some WD-40 or Kroll or whatever you have to break that free, because I haven't been able to get it off yet. But sometimes those get stuck, especially if, say, it's got rust on it like this does. There's possibly built-in rust, as a lot of people may know, inside there. So hopefully I can get it off, because I want to do a full service on this motor. And the next step in this process, and I like this one because it's an oscillating fan, but you won't find that all the time on this stuff. But because this is an oscillating fan, this kind of applies to that. Oh, look at that. One of the screws fell out anyways. So good, because I already had it loose. But again, there's 3 more screws. One there that just fell out. So you can see it. One there that just fell out. That's right here. Again, there are those small screws. One at the top. And then another one on this side. Again, that we will be pulling. And again, I've had these all loosened up pre-doing this, so just so you know, I have been in this. I wanted to make sure every piece of hardware that I could was loose, except for the knob that I've been fighting to get off. That's why I haven't gotten back on that, because I wanted to make sure all these were loose for the video, so it'd be a quick. But yeah. Whoops, sorry guys. Move that out of the way. Oh, my hand's in the way. Yep, there we go. Oh, this third screw must have already came out. Oh no, it's still on. I knew it was loose though. And then what you're going to do is take these two nuts, have a flat head on the other side. It's a long bolt, and what you'll do is you'll take these nuts off the flat with the flathead screwdriver, and I want to say a 5/16 socket, I believe it was. I forget exactly, but I'll mention it in the next video. And unloosen these, and this whole housing will split apart, which I have not gotten apart yet, but that'll be in part 2 of this. And then also on the back side of this, on these are mounting brackets that have flathead screws in there. If you can see those, that will also be part 2 installment on this. And this is part 1 of the disassembly, and in part 2 will be the continuation, I think, of the disassembly and getting the parts. And then I'll do a part 3 on this probably when it's better weather and I can do a full paint restoration and find the matching paint, because this will get a full paint restoration. But this will get mechanically done in part 2, hopefully. But yeah, like I said, if you see those undoing, then you can pull this whole motor out. So what I'm going to finish doing is getting this undone right here. This final screw to pull this off. And then it can come out. And ta-da, that pops out. I hope this is helpful for anyone doing a restoration on a Signal Jetstream air circulating fan, that oscillating style, because you can rotate it. Look for part 2 on the restoration of this fan, and I will see you in the next video. Also look for a video coming up on that one once I find the parts. We will be doing a repair. I was watching a YouTube video that I found on that, and I'm going to rewatch it again, but I'm pretty sure that one of those capacitors that says WM97 on it, I won't need, because if I buy the grounded cord anyways, because the cord's going to be getting replaced, I should be able to eliminate that. But I'm going to rewatch that YouTube video again, and I will obviously do a video on that for anyone who is restoring a Hamilton Beach Model G mixer and would find that useful. But so look for an update on that. And as always, YouTube folks, keep your heads up, stay strong, all that kind of jazz, and look for part 2 on the restoration of this Signal fan. I will catch you in the next video, and as always, sunshine, unicorns, and rainbows.